Confused about what audiences to pick for your Google ads? By the end of this video, you'll have a perfect process for finding the right audiences for your Google display ads. For the best Google Ads tutorials and strategies, subscribe to my channel where I post new digital marketing strategies every single Friday. So over the past 4 years, I've helped a lot of clients get better click-through rates and get better conversions on their display ads simply by choosing the right type of audience for their product and service. And today, it's your turn. So what exactly does Google Ads mean by audiences? Okay, think about it this way. Google is showing ads to billions and billions of people all across the world. These people are different. Everyone is unique. So how does Google figure out which type of people to show your ads to? This is where audiences come in. When you choose an audience, you basically tell Google Ads that you want to show your ads to an audience with a certain type of trait. So for example, if you go and you look at fitness, if you were selling a fitness related product, and if I type in fitness to the audience section, it will bring up a whole lot of subcategories for fitness. People who are interested in healthy eating, people who are interested in exercise. Now when you select those types of audiences that are interested in fitness, you will then basically tell Google to show your ads only to people who either have the characteristic, in other words, they've got a search history where they've been browsing a lot of fitness related websites, or you will tell it to show only on websites and apps that are more dedicated to fitness. And if you look under the audience settings, you will find hundreds and hundreds of different settings for every single product and every single niche out there. Everything you could possibly want is right there. Okay, so now you know exactly what an audience is. But how do you go about finding the right audience for your product or your service or your business? Like, where do you start? Well, before I get into that, I need to tackle a common issue. And I hear this from a lot of my clients, a lot of business owners, a lot of people I consult with, is they think that their audience is everyone. Why? Because their product is so amazing that everyone would want it and everyone should buy it. So they try and cram as much audiences in the audience section as possible. And that is a big mistake, purely because a lot of people may love your product, a lot of people might potentially buy it, but that's not our job in marketing. Our job is to find the person who's highly likely to purchase the product today, right now. That's the type of person that we're looking for. So I'll give you an example. Think about candy and selling sweets, candy and chocolate. Now, a lot of adults love sweets, candy and chocolate, and depending on what mood they are, they may or may not buy it. However, if I was selling sweets and I wanted somebody to buy candy, I would definitely target kids, because no matter what, kids will always want candy and they will always want to buy candy. That is an example of a highly targeted audience who's extremely likely to buy a product. Now, I'm not saying you should go out there advertising candy to kids on Google Ads, but you kind of get the example of what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that you need to focus and think about who exactly is going to buy your product or service from you today. So there's a couple of questions that you need to ask just so that you have a ballpark understanding of the type of audience you should select. So you need to ask questions like, who exactly are they? Are they young professionals? Are they graduates? Are they people who have recently moved into a house? Are they long-time homeowners? Are they renters? You need to ask, where are they? What type of location are they currently occupying? Like, do they live in a certain state? Can they be found globally? that type of question as well. And then you need to look at the different types of personalities they are. So what I want you to do is I want you to write down all the attributes of somebody that you think is highly likely to buy your product or service. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, you don't have to get it spot on, and you are not gonna know every single thing about the right type of client. However, think about it like a sculpture. What we're basically doing is we're just trimming around the edges of the sculpture so that the picture becomes clearer. So we're just chiseling around the edges, and then eventually we will find your ideal client type. So I'll give you an idea and I'll show you my client type for one of my concepts. This is a little case study that I prepared. I'm going to leave a link to this in the description below as well, just so that you can have an example to work off of. Okay, so this is basically for a concept. It's a concept just for a gym in Japan, and I was thinking about the types of people who would want to go to that gym. Now it's basically a gym that's been operating for 2 years. In total, they've got 5 gyms in central Tokyo, and they would like to achieve the goal of increasing their footprint in Tokyo South to about 15 more gyms. Okay, and it's also looking to increase its monthly sign up. The gym is looking to appeal to a younger demographic with its messaging to increase its customer base. Now, if I go to this section over here, target audience, okay? So this is the type of people that they're trying to attract. They want young working professionals, mostly university graduates who have just landed their first job. They are looking for a way to stay active while meeting new people and escaping the frenetic city life. So meet Akihiro Sato. Please, if you're from Japan, forgive me for my pronunciation. Okay, he's a junior illustrator designer working at a design firm based in Ginza. He also works long hours and has a fairly stress-free life. He's looking to run the Kanazawa Marathon in Japan. He's actively seeking a gym to help him meet his fitness goal. Okay, so this guy doesn't exist. I just made him up. And these are the types of demographics that I want you to be actively thinking about. I want you to be thinking about how old are they, what type of education background do they have, what's their gender, what's their family life like, what job title have they got, what income have they got, what location do they stay in, their personality attributes. Are they friendly? Are they outgoing? What types of people are you marketing to? Then we dive down to a deeper level where we're talking about their behaviors. What are their motivations in life? You know, what gets them out of bed in the morning? What are their fears? What are their biggest fears? These two things, if you understand motivation, fears, it can really, really help you to reach the right customer, and also it will help you write ad copy much better. What types of goals do they have in their life, and how can your product or service help them meet those goals? And also, what are the challenges? What are the things that would stop them from buying from you? Okay, going on a little bit deeper, we get into their media habits. Okay, so this gentleman mostly uses his cell phone and his notebook, so you're going to want to make a note of that with your device types. He prefers to have a small upfront commitment when he's buying something, and also he spends a lot of time on Instagram, YouTube, Behance, and a lot of gaming as well. So as you can see there, YouTube, we can definitely target him with YouTube ads and maybe even display ads on gaming type of networks or gaming types of apps and websites. So the reason why I'm showing you all of this is this is not a real person, but this is an educated guess at the type of person who would be most suited to basically purchasing my product or service. And I made a couple of these, but I'm only going to show you this one. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these settings and we're going to find them in Google Ads. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into Google Ads and I'm going to build the audience based on that previous concept that I just showed you, based on Mr. Akihiro Sato. I'm going to build audiences based on his data. So I'm going to go to create campaign. I'm going to say sales and I'm going to say I want a display campaign, and then I'm going to pick a standard display campaign. Just put in my website, neptunedesign.co.za, and I'm going to say continue. So the next thing I am going to do is I am going to firstly, as we can see, he is from Shinagawa. So what I am going to do is in locations, I'm going to say Shinagawa. And as you can see, it's a city in Tokyo, Japan. Perfect. I'm going to say target. Okay, so we've basically got the area right. Languages, obviously, I am going to have to say Japanese over here. Although I don't speak any Japanese at all, we're going to put it in there. Okay, then I'm going to skip bidding. By the way, I've got a whole video on bidding settings. So I'm going to either leave a link up on the screen or I'm going to put one in the description below. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to audiences. Now, when you browse audiences, there are, well, three main audience types. You get affinity. That's when you reach users based on what they're passionate about. So it's based on your search history. It's based on the websites that you spend most of your time on. So if you spend a lot of time on photography websites or fitness websites, you are going to have an affinity audience bracket, or you'll be living in that bracket of photography. And it goes like that for every single other niche. So Google looks at the audience search history and they put you in a certain type of affinity audience. Then you get your in market. So hold on, I'll just going to show you affinity over here. Or actually, the best place to do it would be to go here. There we go. Your affinity over here, basically we already discussed. Your in-market audience. In-market audience is, let's say for example, if you wanted to buy a camera and Google picks up that you have been researching camera reviews, you've been watching a lot of reviews on lenses, you've been watching a lot of reviews on lighting. It generally stands to reason that you are researching something because you actually thinking of purchasing it very soon. So that would make you fall into the in-market category. You are in the market for something and you're about to buy something. And life events would be your normal life events, like you graduated college, you recently got married, or you recently got divorced, that type of thing. So when you look at in-market and life events, they can be more or less the same thing, because somebody could recently buy a home and now they are in the market for furniture, so that could also go together. So these are your different audience types. Now, remarketing I'm not covering in this video, and we'll get to the other types of audiences at a later stage, but we're still focusing on Mr. Akihiro and we're still trying to target him with our audience settings. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to the search function over here. Now we've got the location, his age, we can put his age in demographics, and we're gonna say he would fall in the male age range, well, the male gender, and he would fall in the age range of about 25 to 34. And also what we know about him is his income. I'm going to say that he is in the top bracket of income. I don't know what the people in Japan earn, but I'm just gonna put him in the top 10% because that's so much easier when I'm making this video. Okay, so I've now targeted him in the top 10%, and I've got his age and his gender. Now, is he a parent? Being a student, I do not think he would be a parent. So I'm just gonna tick that box over there. So that's my demographics sorted out. Now, what else have we got here? He's an artist, he's friendly, he's outgoing, and he's a gamer. Okay, Now, that's not something that I would want to target over here. However, we know that if he's interested in joining the gym and one of his goals is running a marathon and staying fit and learning rock climbing, we can definitely find those under the audience attributes. So I'm going to go back into the search bar and I'm going to type in fitness. And as you can see here, we've got a lot of auto-created fitness type of audiences already, which is cool. So let's type in running. Want to see if it comes up with anything like marathon. There we go. Running tips, definitely. Endurance running tips, definitely. Distance running and information, running gear, running events, trail races, running workouts, ultra marathons. So all of these audiences would potentially match his profile. So basically, I am just going through the different aspects of his personality and I'm finding audiences that match that personality, because if this gentleman at this age is looking to run a marathon, it's not only going to look for one person. It's going to show to a whole bunch of people across the internet that are basically looking for the exact same thing. And that's what we want. We want to basically target people that are interested in their health, interested in fitness. Let's see what else. Rock climbing. I wonder. Let's try it again. Rock climbing. There we go. Rock climbing information and equipment. International Federation. I don't care. I'm just going to put it on. Mountain climbing. Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay. And this is how you build up a detailed profile of your ideal client. And this is how you use a concept with a brainstorm, go back, get to audiences, and now you've got a nice mental map for getting this information out there. Now, I want you to comment below and tell me which one you prefer. Do you prefer your in-market audiences, or do you prefer your affinity audiences, and what types of results have you been having with them if you've ever done this before? Now, the reason why we go through all of this extra effort and research is so that when we run our Google ads, we already have a clear picture in mind of the type of person we want. And if the results are not good, then we know that somewhere in our estimations, something's wrong. And I'll show you exactly how we can monitor that and we can test our theory. Okay, so now that you've added your audiences, we need to test them. And you can actually view all the data from all of your audiences in the audience section. Now, some of you might not be on expert mode in Google Ads and you might not be able to find the section. For you, I want you to click on the gray bar at the top of your screen. Once you click at it, you're going to click on switch to expert mode, and then you are going to go down to your audiences section. Now in the audience section, you will see all of the audiences you choose, and you will see all of the data for the subcategories of audiences that you have chosen. Now there's two things that you want to keep an eye on. Number one, your click-through rate. Now, you want to have a high click-through rate because you want to know that the audience you chose was interested and clicked on your ads. I mean, that's why they're there in the first place. So I'd say between 1.5 and 2% is a very good place to be with your click-through rate. That's how you know that you've more or less got the right type of audience. Anything over a 2% click-through rate on your display ads is amazing, and that means you are spot on. However, if you're less than 1.5, I want you, like I said, not to immediately jump to conclusions. Let your ads run for about 2 to 3 weeks just to make sure that this is definitely not the right audience for you. So don't also be too hasty in chopping off an audience. Wait about 2 to 3 weeks so that you can get good data in and that you can make good decisions. The second metric that I look for is bounce rate. Now you can see this in your Google Analytics. when you go under your Google Ads section in your Google Analytics, when you connect your account, you are going to see something that says bounce rate. Now, I could go into every single bounce rate metric, but I'm going to keep it very simple for this video. If your bounce rate is less than 60%, you are doing extremely good and you've more or less got the right audience. If you're above 60%, then you've got some work to do, and obviously your audience isn't that interested in your product or service. So those are the two metrics that I pay attention to the most: your click-through rate and your bounce rate. And obviously sales and conversions will also help you decipher whether or not an audience is working or not. But you can see all of these metrics in the audience menu. And lastly, another thing you can do is build a custom intent audience. And a custom intent audience is really cool because it's an audience built up of keywords that you get to decide. So whatever the keywords are for your business or your product, you get to decide and add them all in, and you create a unique audience for your business. And here's how you do it. So let's create a custom intent audience. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go over into your display campaign. Now, if your view doesn't look like mine, it's because you're not in expert mode. I want you to click on Tools and Settings and click on Switch to Expert Mode for a more detailed view. So you want to click on Display Ads, find the display ad that you want to add the custom intent audience to, and click on Audiences. Okay, this is a list of all the audiences that you currently have in your campaign. You're going to click on this blue pencil icon and you're going to click on Edit Audiences. It's going to ask you to select an ad group, and when you do, you are going to come out to a menu like this. So it's going to say either targeting or observation. Leave it on targeting. Then, instead of searching through your audiences like we did before, you are going to go to Browse, and there is going to be a section where it says your custom audiences. Now this part is really cool. You're going to click on custom audiences, and I'm just not going to click on any of these, and I'm going to say create a new custom audiences. And I'm going to call this for YouTube custom intent. Okay, so it says here people with any of these interests or purchase intentions, but it also gives you an option to look for people who searched any of these terms on Google. And this is the cool part right here. So if I click here and I say Google Ads, let's see if it comes up. Google Ads PPC management. That's perfect. So what you're going to do now is you are basically going to look for the keywords related to your services, to your products. And you can basically add a lot of these to form your own custom intent audience. And this is really powerful because these are going to be keywords only relating to what you're selling. So for example, you could be selling furniture, but you're not selling couches. You're only interested in people who want to buy maybe just chairs. Maybe you just sell bar stools. So basically, when you choose the keywords, you can only target people who are searching for particular terms like bar stool. And I can recommend, this is perfect, kitchen bar chairs, kitchen stools, bar stools. So you can add all of these to really hyper target your clients. And you can also look for people who browse certain types of websites. So for example, if you have some competitor that sells the same exact things that you do, you can put the URL here, and what it'll do is it'll show your display ads to people who browse those types of websites or that specific website as well. And that's what makes custom intent audiences really cool. You can choose your keywords, you can add competitor websites, you can even add the types of apps that your audiences browse, and this will tie it all in together to make your own unique personalized custom audience, and that will have the maximum effect for conversions on your website. Next thing you need to do is just click on Save Audience. Once you've saved audiences, you can see now it's been selected your YouTube custom intent or custom intent audiences. And when I scroll down here, you'll see custom audiences. This has been added. Well, custom audiences, the one we just created, has been added to all of the other audiences that I've had before. So that's basically how you create a custom intent audience. Okay, so now you know exactly how to find the right audience for your display ad campaigns, and that's amazing. But what do you actually do once the customers get to your website? How do you actually get them to buy what you're selling, and how do you actually get them to convert or sign up for your services? Well, luckily for you, I've got a masterclass on doing just that, and if you check out the link in the description below, I am basically going to tell you everything you need to know about getting your first sales or conversions on Google Ads. So you can look out for that in the description below. And if you want to take your display ads to the next level, you can also check out some of these videos that I've made, and I trust that they'll help you, and I hope that this video has been of help to you as well. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Devin from Neptune Design.